The General Motors plant in Ohio is officially rolling out their last Chevy Cruze. Plus, one couple is making a living off their fiddles. Hear their story. And in sports, Ohio men's basketball kept it close with a nationally ranked team. We have a recap. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Bruck. Thanks for joining us. An investigation is underway after a body was found in Pike County. The man was identified as Joshua Dingus, according to the Ross County Sheriff's Office. A bystander saw the body about 2 miles from the county line yesterday morning on Wilson Run Road in Chillicothe. Dingus was not reported missing, and there are no sign of foul play. Captain Mike Preston of the Sheriff's Office says a drug overdose is suspected. A man convicted of aggravated murder last year is appealing the sentence he received. William Blair was found guilty of burglary and strangling a 71-year-old woman. The judge in the Athens County Common Pleas Court sentenced Blair to life in prison without parole. The appeal argues that the sentence needs to have an option of parole and that Blair received ineffective assistance of counsel during his trial. The General Motors plant in Lordstown, Ohio is closing today. GM has sped up the timeline for ending production at the Ohio plant, but says one last Chevy Cruze will come off the assembly line. The company says it's shutting down production to invest more money in other vehicles. Ohio Senator Rob Portman said he was disappointed by the decision.
We're still pushing them. They say they're going to make 20 new electric car models in the next 5 years, and the rumor is some of those may be in China. Well, let's be sure that one of those at least is in Lordstown. It's not too much to ask.
The Lordstown plant is the first of 4 U.S. plants that General Motors is closing through 2020, including locations in Baltimore, Michigan, and Detroit. Ohio state lawmakers want to cut Governor Mike DeWine's proposal for a gas tax increase. Governor DeWine recommended a tax of 18 cents per gallon to maintain roads and bridges. House Republicans revealed their own plan yesterday, which includes a 10.7-cent increase instead. The House plan would raise about $900 million per year compared to more than $1 billion from DeWine's plan. A full House vote is expected tomorrow. A West Virginia bill that would allow concealed weapons on college campuses was shut down. The state Senate Judiciary Committee voted last night to stop the measure from going to the full Senate. The House of Delegates passed the bill last week. Leaders from universities opposed the bill, and professors and school staffers flooded the Capitol to lobby against it. The bill would have exempted some places like stadiums, daycare centers, and law enforcement buildings. Kentucky is also considering concealed carry legislation. Governor Matt Bevin says he is ready to sign a bill letting people carry a concealed handgun without a permit or training. State lawmakers approved it last week, and Bevin says the measure is supported by a majority of Kentucky residents. Under the new law, residents can lawfully possess a firearm and could conceal their weapons without a license. Another piece of legislation in Kentucky is making it possible for people to report concerns about students using electronic cigarettes anonymously. The new legislation passed the state Senate yesterday, but public health advocates are still worried, saying Kentucky missed a chance to combat the problem by failing to raise the legal smoking age to 21. An amendment to raise the age was taken out of the measure that passed yesterday.
Welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Michaela Gress. Now, overall today, we did see a little bit of sunshine, but those cold temperatures sure didn't make it feel any warmer. As we're taking a look currently, we're seeing those temperatures in the middle to lower 20s, 22 up in Newark, 27 down in Ripley, and take a look at Ironton. They're our hot spot right now, and they're sitting at 32 degrees. This is the highest temperature-wise that we have seen over the day today, but those conditions are still pretty cloudy for most of the area. Now, as we take a look at what to expect here in the next couple of days, there's that potential for some snow. The cold, sadly, is here to stay, so sadly, spring isn't anywhere near in sight here, Taylor, so make sure you have those warm winter coats with you.
Michaela, good thing I have a coat in every single color. Thanks, Michaela. President Trump's Homeland Security chief is facing tough questions on Capitol Hill about the border with Mexico. Kristen Nielsen is the highest-ranking administration official to testify on immigration policy so far this year. She faced questions about child separation and the president's emergency declaration. Karen Kafa reports on the hearing.
It was been nearly a year Since the Secretary of Homeland Security testified before this committee.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen grilled by House Democrats on border security and immigration, including the highly controversial family separations at the southern border.
As a consequence for a parent going to jail, we in this country do not take the children to jail.
So I take that as a yes, that you understood that the zero-tolerance policy was going to lead to minors being separated from their parents.
As it has in the last 3 administrations.
Yes. Okay.
And offering a firm defense of the administration, but at times few specifics.
You know how many young people are detained?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have that number in front of me. We have all of the numbers.
Would you provide that for me?
Yes.
When it came to total apprehensions, Nielsen pointed to new numbers from Customs and Border Protection. More than 76,000 people apprehended at the southern border during February, on track for 900,000 this year. She defended Trump's emergency declaration to access funds for a southern border wall.
He hoped Congress would act, that it didn't have to come to issuing an emergency declaration if Congress had met his request to fund the resources that CBP has requested.
The House has voted to terminate that order. The Senate appears poised to do the same. The president says he'll veto it. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
President Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen is back on Capitol Hill. He gave the House Intelligence Committee documents related to a Trump real estate project in Moscow. This is all during a second round of interviews, this time behind closed doors. A person familiar with the matter says Cohen told the committee the Moscow project was eventually abandoned. Fiddles are a family affair. Hear about one couple who spent their life traveling and teaching the history of the instrument. Plus, after playing his mandolin all over Southeast Ohio, one man is enjoying his retirement making music in a slightly different way. Those stories coming up. Newswatch will be right back.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Tonight, we'll take a look at the music scene in the Southeast Ohio region. This special segment will feature stories about unique instruments and unique people. First, champion fiddlers Liz and Lynn Shaw put Arts West Musical Lending Library to good use. Newswatch reporter Caitlin Coolidge goes inside Arts West to learn about the legacy of the Shaws and what they are doing to give back to the Athens community.
For Liz Shaw, fiddle playing is in her blood. She's a fifth-generation fiddle player who started playing in her family string band when she was a little girl. She began to produce music with her husband, Lynn, when she was just 16 after they met at a folk festival. But Lynn had to go through an interesting process to get Liz's family to accept him.
So they made him audition before we could actually get too serious with our relationship, because they knew if we ended up getting married one day, which we did, he would end up being in our string band.
Lynn made the cut and joined the family band. Eventually, Lynn and Liz hit the road on their own with their small son and made a living on playing, teaching, and telling the history of the fiddle. Their show, The Great American Music Company, aired in the US and Canada. They recently won a regional Emmy for their work on the documentary Our Town Jackson. Today, the Shaws enjoy being a part of the music community in Southeast Ohio.
We were glad to find there was an old-time music scene here, but there's all kinds of music in this town.
Good Celtic music, and that's what I play a lot with a band called Boys of the Hawk.
Lynn says they play Celtic music every Tuesday night at Little Fish Brewery, and that Liz gives fiddle lessons at their home in Meigs County. They also do workshops where they teach people about the history of the fiddle and how to play a few tunes. Needless to say, music remains at the center of their lives.
It's been our livelihood, and it keeps us happy, and it has kept us fed through many, many years.
For Newswatch, I'm Caitlin Coolidge.
Members can check out fiddles along with other instruments at Arts West and attend events every week. One local Athens County man has spent a lifetime playing music all around the region. Now he's making music in a different kind of way. Newswatch reporter Ben Schwartz has a story.
Pete Hart has been playing the mandolin since the 1970s. In '79, he formed the Hart Brothers, a band with his brother and close friend. From there, they went to play countless shows around the Midwest before their final appearance in late 2015.
I would never take anything for that time and all the friends.
Now in his retirement, Hart, a lifelong resident of Guysville, Ohio, is spending his time creating instruments instead of music.
It's satisfying to take a piece of rough wood, and make something like that out of,
Hart played the mandolin with his band and says he started building his own mandolins when he wasn't able to afford a particular model.
I always wanted the F5 style, and so I thought, well, I couldn't afford it that time, and a friend of mine, Bob White, over here in the country, he asked me, so why don't you just build yourself one?
Now, Hart takes orders from musicians and builds mandolins at his in-home shop, which he calls Woodside Instruments. He's built hundreds throughout the years. And with his years of experience, Hart says he knows that every mandolin he makes has different qualities.
And I can build another mandolin out of the same matched piece of wood that's in that top and in the back, and they will not sound exactly the same.
And while that is rewarding enough, Pete says getting paid to make the instrument he loves is an added bonus.
Hart says since 2015, he's estimated he's made at least 100 mandolins. A new medication was just approved to treat depression. How it works differently than existing drugs. That story coming up later.
And coming up in my full forecast, we'll talk about yet another snow potential, how those temperatures will stay in the 20s for the next couple of days, but then we'll take a look at how that sun will come back next week. And here's a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Michaela Gress. Overall today, we did see that sunshine a little bit this morning, but those clouds surely took that warmth or any warmth that we had away. Now, as we take a look currently across the region, we're seeing those temperatures kind of all over the place. We're seeing 20 in New Lexington, 27 down in Ripley, 24 over in New Martinsville. So overall, pretty much roughly around the 20s for most of the viewing area. Now let's take a look at why we are seeing this. So here's where we're sitting currently. We're seeing this low pressure system right up over top of Ohio, and you see those snow flurries along with it. Now we're not being affected by that just yet. Now as we take a look at tonight, you see that low pressure system up in Michigan. That's going to help swing this low pressure, this cold front actually, towards Ohio tomorrow, and that's going to give us that potential for just a little bit of flurries for tomorrow night. But as you can see, it won't affect us that much. It won't be that much accumulation. It'll just be a little light dusting. But for tonight, we're looking at 21 degrees, partly cloudy conditions. Make sure you do have that heavy winter coat with you. It is going to be cold outside, but those winds are going to be coming out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now tonight, if we're looking across the region, sadly to say, we're seeing those teens for some of the viewing area. We're seeing 19 up in Cambridge, 21 down in Ripley, 22 as our hotspot down in Ironton, and as for us, as I've said, 21 degrees here in Athens. So overall, a very cold night tonight. But as we're looking at the bus stop forecast for tomorrow, 24 degrees. So again, as I've said, that heavy winter coat is going to be your best friend tomorrow morning. It will be cloudy. That wind chill will be pretty brutal tomorrow morning, so make sure that you are bundled up if you do plan on standing outside at all tomorrow. Now for the day tomorrow, 38 degrees, gloomy overcast, still pretty cold outside, but we will see those potentials for the snow flurries tomorrow night. But taking a look across the viewing area, we're seeing some higher temperatures than we did see today. We're seeing 40 down in Ironton, 41 in Ripley, 38 over in New Martinsville. So overall, those temperatures will increase, but not by much. So spring isn't as close as we may think that it is. But as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, as I've said, 38 for tomorrow, 39 for tomorrow, or Friday. For Saturday, we are seeing a little bit of a warm up though. Those temperatures will be in the mid 50s. We see that potential for some sunshine on Sunday, but those temperatures will drop back down to the 30s. Monday, we will stay in a cooler range with 47 degrees. For Tuesday, we're seeing yet again another 47. That sun will begin to make its way back out. And for Wednesday, we're seeing the highest temperature that we will see for the week at 56 degrees. Now, Nick, what's going on in sports?
Thanks, Michaela. I'll remember to put on my coat tomorrow. But
Thanks, Michaela. I'll remember to put on my coat tomorrow. But in sports, we're going to talk about some Ohio basketball. Now, the Ohio women's basketball team is just minutes away from tip-off in Oxford as they get ready to take on the Miami Redhawks. Sports Director Thomas Garvik joins us live from Millard Hall.
Ron, you're in the south. Hey, Nick, a huge game coming up here tonight in Oxford. We're just minutes away from tip-off that will all but likely determine who is crowned the MAC East champion and who gets the 2 seed in the MAC tournament next week. Miami and Ohio both coming in are 12-4 in conference play, with the Redhawks currently owning the tiebreaker with Ohio with their win in Athens earlier this year. And looking back for Ohio, it's a game that they let slip away in the fourth quarter. In fact, you can argue that fourth quarter was the worst quarter that Ohio has played all year. They scored just 3 points on 1 of 14 shooting. It also didn't help that Lauren Dickerson and Savannah Kluser scored 49 points combined in that game. Gabby Burst and Bob Bourne both believe that things are going to be different this time. The stakes are much higher.
It's really exciting just because we're just right there. We're so close. So we're right at the end of it, and it's just the push. It's the battle that everyone talks about, the end of the season grind.
It's going to be a tough game. They're going to come at us, and as I said, they're going to put the ball in their best players' hands repeatedly, and you have to guard them repeatedly. And then we're going to do the same at the other end, and we're going to put pressure on them to guard us.
And some history on the line here for Ohio tonight as well. With a win, it'll be Bob Bowlen's 124th career victory as head coach of Ohio. The youth program director. So a lot at stake for Bolen in Ohio. Reporting live from Oxford for Newswatch, I'm Thomas Garvik. Back to Nick in the studio.
Thanks, Tommy. Now, in other Ohio basketball action, the men's team are winners of 2 of the last 3 games, and they took on conference foe Buffalo last night in the Convo. And the Bobcats look to avenge a 47-point loss against Buffalo from a couple weeks ago. Playing much better of basketball as of late, Ohio looked poised to do just that. And it was a back-and-forth matchup early. Despite allowing 11 threes in the first half, the Bobcats went into halftime down just 6. The second half was more of the same. Ohio showed no quit, with Buffalo continuing to knock down the 3. Ohio hit a couple big threes themselves in the final minute, but the Bobcats came just short from winning this one. From a half-court miracle in the Convo, Ohio lost 82-79. Ohio will close the regular season at Miami this Friday. Now, getting off the hardwood last night, the Columbus Blue Jackets hit the ice. They traveled to New Jersey to take on an injury-plagued Devils. If there was any game where Columbus should impose their will, it was this one. For one solid minute of the game, they did just that. Cam Atkinson scored his career-best 36th goal of the season to open the game. They would not do much else the rest of the game, outscoring the Devils 2-0 in the shootout for the win. And in other news, earlier today, Cleveland Browns made a move saving them $9 million. They released 29-year-old linebacker Jamie Collins. He was heading into his 3rd year of a 4-year, $50 million deal. In 2018, Collins compiled 104 tackles and 4 sacks. The Browns now have over $80 million in cap space this year, which is 3rd in the league. I'm Nick Mullins, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Taylor.
Thanks, Nick. The newly approved nasal spray to treat depression will have to be administered under supervision. What could make this drug so addictive? Plus, more than 2,000 bolts of lightning lit up the sky in California. You don't want to miss this amazing video when Newswatch returns. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
Is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Energy at the fingertips. Collapse. TV played Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
$322 million people worldwide live with depression. But good news, a new drug has just been approved to help those that have the disease but haven't had success with other treatments. But the nasal spray comes with a big warning label. Meredith Wood explains.
Millions of people suffer from depression, but approximately 1/3 of those suffering from major depression are considered treatment resistant, meaning nothing works. Well, help and hope may be on the way. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration just approved the second ever drug and first one in a decade to treat those with treatment-resistant depression. The drug is Spravato, and it contains esketamine, the chemical cousin of ketamine, a powerful anesthetic which is used illegally as the club drug Special K. It's administered as a nasal spray and is fast-acting, a welcome change when other treatments like Prozac can take weeks or months to work.
All our previous antidepressants work by serotonin or norepinephrine. This mechanism is completely novel. It works on the NMDA receptor and turns on what we think are some long-term synaptic changes.
Side effects range from dizziness and lethargy to feeling drunk and temporarily disconnected from your body and mind. Because of its potency and potential for abuse, the drug will not be sent home with patients. It will be administered at the doctor's office, and patients will be monitored for at least 2 hours afterwards. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, depression is the leading cause of disability in the United States among people ages 15 to 44. Let's head over to Michaela for a final look at the weather.
Thanks, Taylor. Now for tomorrow, we're looking at 38 degrees. The gloomy overcast conditions will continue for our Thursday, sadly. And across the viewing area, we're seeing pretty much the same story with those temperatures in the lower to mid to upper 40s also. We're seeing 39 in Marietta, 41 down in Ripley, 40 in Ironton, and 33 up in Newark. So overall, make sure that you do have a jacket with you tomorrow. And as we look into the next few days, we're seeing 38 tomorrow, 39 for Friday. Those temperatures are going to begin to increase as we look at Saturday and Sunday. We're seeing those mid-50s for most of the area on Saturday and Sunday. That sun will begin to poke its way back out and back to the desk.
Thanks, Michaela. Southern California residents recently witnessed a powerful display in the sky. More than 2,000 lightning strikes hit areas from Santa Barbara to LA. Experts say the surge is likely due to a phenomenon called the atmospheric river. That's where a jet stream pushes a plume of tropical moisture south, resulting in heavier rainfall. Fire official Mike Eliasson was able to capture these stunning images of the light show over Santa Barbara. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Taylor Bruck. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.